product of power properties. So what to do when we're raising an exponent to another exponent. So anytime we raise a power to a power, the very first thing you need to do is you need to raise each coefficient to the power of the exponent. So you're going to raise the coefficient to each power. And then the second thing you do is you multiply the exponents. So we're going to start off with some easier examples, and then they're going to get more challenging as we go through. So starting with this first example, notice I have a power outside of the parentheses, so I'm raising it to a power. So I'm going to distribute the power. Since there's no coefficients, I don't have to worry about any coefficients. So I'm just going to multiply the exponents together. So 4 times 3 just gives me x to the 12th power. Now the next one does have a coefficient, so I have to make sure I do 3 to the second power, and be careful, 3 to the second power is not the same thing as 2 times 3. 3 to the second power is 3 times 3, which is 9. And then you multiply the exponents. So you should get 9x to the 6th power. Let's try some more examples. So in example 1, there's no coefficients, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm just going to multiply the exponents. So 2 times 8 gives me x to the 16th power. For example 2, this one does not have any exponents outside of the parentheses. So if it doesn't have an exponent, you just keep them the same. So keep this as a to the third, b to the second, times a to the first. And now it's a multiplication problem. So remember, with multiplication, you have to add the exponents. So you would get a to the 4th power, and then just bring down the b to the 2nd power. Final answer. In example 3, you have to distribute 2 to the 4th power. Remember, that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which would be 16, and then multiply the exponents. So you get 16c to the 12th power. Same thing with example 4. Do 4 to the 3rd power, or 4 times 4 times 4, which gives you 64, and then multiply the exponents. So you would get 64c to the 12th power. Okay, let's continue with some more examples on the back page of your notes. So starting with example 1, again, you're just going to multiply exponents since I don't have any coefficients. So I would just get x to the 20th power. Now be careful with number 2, because if you notice in number 2, the 3 is where the exponent is attached. So the 3 is actually a base. So you're just going to multiply the exponent. So it'd be 3 to the 8th power. You don't do 3 to the 4th power first, because 3 is not a coefficient. In example 3, the first parenthesis does not have an exponent outside, so we just bring it down and keep it as a to the 5th. But for the second parenthesis, we're going to distribute. So we're going to multiply the exponents to get a to the 2nd, b to the 12th, and then it becomes a multiplication problem. So remember, with multiplication problems, you have to add the exponents. After you add the exponents, you get a to the 7th power, and then just bring down b to the 12th power. In example 4, we're going to distribute the 3rd power, so 2 to the 3rd power. In the calculator, that's 8, and then multiply the exponents. So 6 times 3 is 8y to the 18th. In example 5, we have to do 10 to the 2nd power, which is 100, and then multiply the exponents. So a to the 2nd, b to the 6th, and then that would be your final answer. In example 6, let's distribute the 3rd power. 2 to the 3rd power is 8, and then multiply the exponents. So I get x to the 3rd. Then distribute the 5th power in the second parentheses. So 4 to the 5th power is 1024, and then multiply exponents. So x to the 10th, y to the 35th. Now it becomes a multiplication problem, so you have to multiply the coefficients. 8 times 1,024 is 8,192, and then add the exponents. So x to the 13th, and then just bring down y to the 35th power. In example 7, the first parenthesis doesn't have an exponent, so just keep it as 3x to the first, y to the first, but then distribute the exponent in the second parentheses. So multiply 1 times 2 is x to the second, y to the second. Now it becomes a multiplication problem, so we just need to bring down the 3 and then add the exponents. So 1 plus 2 is x to the third, and then 1 plus 2, y to the third. Final answer. In number 8, we're going to distribute. Now careful, because there is a -1 in front. So when you type this in your calculator, if it's a negative coefficient, make sure you use parentheses. Otherwise, you won't get the correct answer when typing it in the calculator. So -1 to the second power is +1. And then multiply the exponents. So x to the 6th, and then y to the second. Times, and then same thing here, -1 to the third power is just going to be -1, and then multiply the exponents to get x to the third, y to the 18th. Now it becomes a multiplication problem, so multiply the coefficients. 1 times -1 is -1, and add the exponents. So 6 plus 3 is x to the 9th, and then 2 plus 18 is y to the 20th. Final answer. In number 9, let's distribute the fourth power. So 3 to the fourth power is 81. 81, and then I'm going to multiply my exponents. So I get m to the 16th, and then n to the 4th. Final answer. Next one is number 10. So in number 10, I'm going to do -2 to the third power, which is -8. Multiply the exponents. I get x to the 24th, and then y to the 12th. Final answer. In number 11, I'm going to do -4 to the fourth power, and I get +256. Then multiply the exponents to get m to the 8th, n to the 4th, times -6 to the second power is +36, and then multiply the exponents, m to the second, n to the 8th. Now it becomes a multiplication problem, so I'm going to multiply my coefficients. 256 times 36 is 9,216, and then add the exponents. So I get m to the 10th, n to the 12th. Final answer. In number 12, I'm going to distribute the second power. So I get 16, and then multiply the exponents. So a to the 6th, b to the 4th, c to the 2nd. Final answer. Okay, we got 3 more examples left. In number 13, I'm just going to multiply exponents since I don't have any coefficients. So I get x to the 28th, and then distribute to get x to the 5th. Now that it's a multiplication problem, we just add the exponents to get x to the 33rd power. Next one, we have to distribute the 6 to everything. So I get p to the 6th, q to the 6th, r to the 6th. Same thing with the second parenthesis, but I'm distributing a 9. So I get p to the 9th, q to the 9th, r to the 9th. And now, because it's a multiplication problem, we just add our exponents. So p to the 15th, q to the 15th, and then r to the 15th. Final answer. Very last example, we're going to distribute the third power. 6 to the third power is 216, and then multiply the exponents. So a to the 18th, b to the 9th, c to the 3rd, and then just bring down the ABC. So that would be like a to the 1st, b to the 1st, and c to the 1st. Since there's only one coefficient, we're just going to bring down that 216 and then add exponents because it's a multiplication problem now. So I get a to the 19th, b to the 10th, c to the 4th as my final answer. So now hopefully you have a better idea of what to do when you're raising a power to a power. You just have to distribute the exponent to everything in the parentheses. Feel free to reach out to your teacher if you have any additional questions.